guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah if you are new here, and today we're going to be doing my 30-week pregnancy update. I'm going to be turning 30 weeks tomorrow, so I'm filming this a little bit early, but I have some things I wanted to update you on, and I wanted to just get out to you the results of my 3-hour glucose as quickly as I could, because I know a few of you are wondering about that. So I guess we can get started with the 3-hour glucose and the results and how that whole process went for me. So in my last update I mentioned that I did fail the 1-hour test. My number was 165. I know the number might not mean much to some of you, but if you are going through these glucose tests, it's kind of nice just to know what numbers other people are getting, and I don't know, I just find it useful for myself when I'm Googling or when I'm watching videos, so I'll share my numbers with you guys. So I was 165, they wanted me to be below 145, so I needed to do the 3-hour glucose, and they had me come in about a week after the 1 hour to do the 3-hour. And I've taken the 3-hour a couple times already. I took it twice during my first pregnancy. Because I have a history of diabetes in my family, I kind of brought that up, and they're like, well, let's have you do the glucose test early. So I took it at like 15 weeks, and then I took it again at like 27 weeks. I passed both of those 3 hours. So I felt like I was gonna be fine during this pregnancy, but my 1 hour number was higher than it was during my first pregnancy, so it made me pretty nervous. And I've had some symptoms, just some things that are different during this pregnancy that made me think maybe there's a chance I have it this time, and I didn't, that's why things are different. I don't know. So going into the 3-hour, I was extremely nervous. I tried to exercise and drink tons of water and tried to do whatever I could to help with that. I went into the 3-hour, and in terms of drinking the liquid, it's terrible. The 3-hour is double the sugar. It's the same amount of liquid to drink, so it takes the same amount of time. It's not too terrible in terms of the quantity, but it's just thicker and sweeter, and just not a fan. It's just really hard, and I'm somebody who, if I don't want to eat something, it's really hard to force myself. Like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. So that was hard, but I got through that. In terms of the waiting, because you have to wait 3 hours, they pull your blood 4 times, once at the beginning, once after an hour, after 2 hours, and then after 3 hours. So the waiting typically is pretty painful because you don't feel great. You're sitting in a waiting room, and it's just kind of boring and just sucks to have to sit there, and you can't eat anything. You can drink water, but that's it. But this time around, I think the one thing that was different is I am a mom now, so I have a toddler, and it kind of was awesome to have those 3 hours to just relax. And I got a few things done on my phone. I checked emails, things like that. I read a little bit of a book. I mean, I just don't have 3 hours in the middle of my day where I'm not exhausted to do stuff. So that was kind of cool. Honestly, the 3 hours went by fairly quickly because I came in with a pretty clear plan of what I was going to do. I brought a book, I brought my phone, and I brought my phone charger and headphones. So I highly recommend bringing all of those things if you are going to be going to the 3-hour and you don't know what you're going to do. Usually in the waiting rooms they'll have outlets for you to charge your phone, because it probably will die during those 3 hours if you use it the whole time, and bring headphones so you could watch YouTube or something like that. So I checked emails, I made my grocery shopping list, I put like digital coupons on my account, I got all organized, I did some YouTube, Instagram stuff. So it actually went pretty quickly, and it was kind of nice. It's just the drinking, the liquid part, and the drawing blood 4 times that sucks. And on that note, I have poison IV all over one of my arms, so they're drawing blood twice in an arm that has a very itchy, inflamed rash on it, so that was not fun. So I got through that, and unfortunately that was on a Friday, so they weren't gonna call me till Monday. So I was super nervous all weekend long. They called me on Monday morning, like right away, which was kind of weird because they never call me ever that early in the day. And I didn't know what to think about that. I kind of got freaked out. But then I realized if they're calling me that early, it's probably good because the doctor probably didn't even have time to go over the results. They're probably just going off the numbers and giving me a call. So turns out they called me and I did pass the 3 hour, which I'm so thankful for. I really didn't want to have another thing on my list of potential issues with this pregnancy because we're already closely monitoring me for preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome, and I just really didn't want another thing on the list that would prevent me from getting a VBAC. So thankful that I passed that. And I wanted to share my numbers with you guys and kind of what the doctor was looking for, because when I heard my numbers, I was like, it sounds like I was kind of borderline, or I might have even failed one of them. And she's like, no, you passed all 4. But I think the general rule is if you fail one of the 4 numbers, you're still fine. You have to fail 2 of them. And they're pretty lenient on like how high your numbers can be. So the first one, I think it needs to be like under 100 or 120 or something. That's like your resting, like you haven't had any sugar yet, just like your normal, when you wake up in the morning, that's your blood sugar. So mine was 77. And so it was far below 100, and I don't think that's dangerously low either. It's just a solid number. My second number was 146. So to me that seemed a little bit high because I know generally they want you to be like below 145, and so it's like I might have even failed or I was kind of borderline. But they said for the 3 hour glucose, the standard is your second number needs to be below 180. So I was very far under that. They were happy with that. So I passed that second number. My third number was 128, and I believe that needed to be like below 160, somewhere around there. So I definitely passed that one. And then my last number for some reason was 131, but it just barely went up. I don't know. And honestly, it could have just been like an error. Like it probably was about the same, the third and the fourth numbers. So 131, and I think that needed to be below 140. So technically passed all 4 numbers. They were happy with my results, so they're not gonna monitor me or pretty much bring it up again. They said I'm good there. So that is super relieving and just good to get over with. That does not mean that I can slack off though. I'm gonna still try to exercise regularly and eat as well as I can, but at least I don't have that on my plate of things to worry about. So next thing that I really wanted to update you guys on is my poison ivy situation, because you know that my poison ivy combined with my sleep insomnia, pregnancy insomnia, has made it very hard for me to sleep and get comfortable. And in the last 2 weeks, it's definitely gotten better, but it's definitely still a struggle. My arm is pretty much healed. There's like a little bit of discoloration. I had some on my neck and my chest, and that's pretty much all gone. I have some discoloration still on my stomach, so when I do my bump shot at the end of this video, you guys will see a little bit of that. It's not really a rash anymore. Itches every once in a while, but it's mostly healed. It's just kind of red and discolored still, and that's how my arm is. The skin is like healing, and it's like a lot of new skin, so it's like a lot lighter than my skin color, and it's really itchy because it is healing still. So my arm definitely itches all the time, especially at night, but it's not as bad as it was, and it's definitely nice to not have like that full-on rash on my arm anymore. It's definitely getting a lot better. But my sleep insomnia is not getting any better. It's actually, if anything, getting worse, where I feel like I'm exhausted by like 7 p.m. but I know that my body's not gonna let me go to sleep until after 10 p.m. Like I just know I'm gonna lay there. If I get things done and I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed early, I'm gonna get in bed at 8 or 9, I'm just gonna lay there. I know it every single time. So I just try to keep myself busy till around like 10 o'clock, and then I'll get in bed. And then even then I usually lay in bed for like a half hour to an hour, and I'm just like not able to go to sleep at all. Even though I'm tired, it's almost like my eyes and my body are tired, but my mind is like wide awake. So it's bizarre, and it's really getting frustrating because I just would love to just relax and just like feel like really rested, but I don't take naps because I don't want it to make it even harder for me to go to sleep at night. and then I go to sleep really late, and I have been able to sleep in a little bit here and there because my son has been awesome, and he'll sometimes wake up either at the same time as me or a little bit before me, but he's like really content in his crib recently, so he doesn't make a lot of noises. So I kind of have to like listen really closely to be able to even notice that he's up. So I kind of just get him up once I'm up and kind of got myself put together. So I had been sleeping in a little bit longer than I have been, and that has been nice. But jumping into some specifics with my pregnancy at this point. So I'm just about 30 weeks now. In terms of cravings and aversions, nothing really new to report there, honestly. Still craving a lot of sweet things. Trying to eat as healthy as I can, but it's just hard. I feel like it's hard for everyone. So if you're pregnant, don't feel bad. It's just for some reason, we just crave carbs and sugar, and I think that's pretty common across the board. And so it's hard to try to eat healthy, but I'm doing the best I can. I'm just trying to make smart choices when I can, when I feel up to it, and then limit the bad choices. Weight gain is another topic that I wanted to mention. I haven't really gained a lot of weight the past couple weeks. According to my doctor, because I had my doctor's appointment this morning, and according to them, I didn't gain any weight over the last 2 weeks, but it's hard because it's like different times throughout the day, and I'm wearing different clothes and different shoes, so it's like I feel like I know more about my weight fluctuation than they do, because I could just wear something really light and they would think I didn't gain any weight, but I know I did. So I think over the last couple weeks I've gained maybe a pound. So I would say I'm probably at maybe 8 pounds gained at this point. It's hard because I'll gain a couple pounds and then I'll like lose a pound, and then I'll gain a couple pounds and lose a pound, and so it's like it's fluctuating a ton right now. And it's probably because also it's hot here and humid, and so there's some days I do have a little bit of water retention or just a little bit of swelling, but it's not severe at all. It's not even really that noticeable. It's just more like I can kind of tell if I'm looking closely. So, and then also there's days where like we go out to eat and I eat a ton, because I can eat a ton of food right now if I really wanted to. So there's just a lot of fluctuation, but I really haven't gained much weight in the past 2 weeks. And I did talk to my doctor about that today, and I was like, I don't think there's any reason to be concerned, because I don't need to add any like body fat or anything. Like I started at a high BMI. I don't need to gain much weight, just essentially what the baby weighs and my placenta weighs. And she said, yeah, that's correct, you're fine. They measured my stomach actually, and generally they don't even tell me what the number is, but she told me it was 30 centimeters, which is like perfectly right on the dot of where I should be, since I'm going to be 30 weeks tomorrow. So since my stomach measures really well, and she was feeling around and she felt the baby, and she's like, you know, I think everything's fine with the baby. I think that it's growing at a perfect rate. So there's not really any reason to be concerned about my weight in general at this point. So I think I'm good there. I did ask if she could tell me if the baby's head down, because in my first pregnancy, I guess I just like never really thought to ask that, or I wasn't too concerned about that. But for this pregnancy, since I'm attempting a VBAC, I just really have been thinking about that recently and trying to figure out on my own, but I wasn't really sure. So I asked her if she could feel, and she said she's pretty sure that she is head down with her legs like on my left side, which kind of makes sense because I feel a lot of kicks on that side. So it sounds like she's in a good position and she is a good size. So that is all really exciting and really awesome to hear. In terms of sleeping at night, I already talked about the insomnia, but getting comfortable is definitely getting harder, and I just feel a lot bigger when I'm rolling over. So in the middle of the night, sometimes it will be a little painful to move from side to side. I have to go slower. I have to get out of bed slower. So that's just becoming a lot more noticeable. I feel like as soon as I hit that 3rd trimester mark, I just felt a lot bigger, and my body just feels a lot more weighed down, especially if I try to lay on my back, even if it's for a few minutes. I don't get the like blood pressure drop or like feeling like I'm gonna pass out or anything like that. I mostly feel a little bit nauseous, and it feels just like so many, like the baby is like weighing on all my organs, which like she is essentially, and so it just feels like a lot of like pressure and just a lot of discomfort when I lay on my back. So I have to move over pretty quickly, and it just makes rolling over in the middle of the night a lot harder, and I'm just feeling larger. So it's crazy to think that I have about 10 weeks left, because that's a long time for every week to be getting more and more painful and me getting bigger and bigger. For 10 weeks, that's a long time. And with my first pregnancy, I had my son the day I turned 36 weeks. So I don't even know what the last month of pregnancy is like. So I'm getting a little bit nervous of like how I'm gonna do, but honestly, my back pain is almost non-existent. I feel pretty good there. I'm still able to walk, you know, go on walks with my son with the stroller and keep up with him and everything like that. I don't go on long walks, and I do definitely get some cramping when I'm walking, but it's nothing that I can't handle that's too severe. I can definitely still go on walks, and it's not a big deal. So I think just staying active is really gonna help me going forward. I feel like if you're pretty active throughout the day, even if it's just like going to the grocery store or whatever you're doing, if you're walking around a lot and doing a lot of things, it just helps your body feel more like, hey, like we can handle this, it's not a big deal. I think I'm gonna do these updates probably every 2 weeks for the next few, and then maybe I'll start to do them every week when I get closer. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely gonna do some of those other type of updates where it's like what's in my hospital bag and just kind of things like that along the way. But probably the next update I'll do for you guys is going to be at 32 weeks. So if you are not subscribed, please consider hitting that button and hitting the bell button so that you do not miss my next pregnancy updates, because I definitely want to keep you updated all the way through this pregnancy, no matter what happens. Who knows? Pregnancy is unpredictable. So definitely stay tuned and consider subscribing to my channel. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and like I said, I am going to do a bump shot at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. But lastly, I just wanted to mention, if you are here because you are pregnant or you are trying to get pregnant, I just want to give you a bit of encouragement, because it's a hard thing to do. Regardless of what you go through, everybody goes through something that's a little bit different. So I struggle with a few things that maybe aren't a big deal to somebody else who's pregnant, but there are so many different things that can happen when you're pregnant that are uncomfortable, and it's just hard to deal with for 40 plus weeks. It's a long time. So I just wanted to give you some encouragement that it will be over eventually, and we are going to get to the end and have a sweet baby to hold. And I have about 10 weeks left, and I just keep counting down the weeks because it goes so fast, but at the same time you're like so anxious and excited. It also feels like it's slow towards the end. So I just wanted to say that we all are in this together, but we all have completely different experiences, and so don't feel like you need to feel the same way as somebody else or have the same symptoms as somebody else, because we all have our own things going on that are hard, and that's pregnancy. It's just a weird thing to go through, honestly, and it's amazing, the whole pregnancy and labor process, what can happen and how it cannot turn out how you planned at all or how you envisioned at all, but it all works out, and somehow our body and the baby's body is able to just like do all these crazy things. So just try to stay positive, try to take care of yourself. If that's just trying to stay a little bit active and drinking some water, whatever you can do, but it's hard. I don't think anyone should feel like they have to say it's not, because it is. On this channel, I do vlogs and motherhood related chats and some cleaning videos. So in addition to my pregnancy updates, I do have those if you're interested in that type of thing. So I am trying right now to post 3 times a week. So I will post a pregnancy update in about 2 weeks, but I do other videos in between. I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.